There's a question I get occasionally about using the command top, keyword top, in a select statement. More specifically, using it in a view. The reason why you use it in a view is so you could put an order by statement in the view, which is not always considered the best practice, but it happens in the industry often enough that I think people should at least know about it. So, the nature of top is that you can tell it how many rows you want to get, but you can also tell it a percentage. So if I go through and I do this, I can see that I get 1%, which is 22 rows of this full set, 100%, which is 2155. So 2155 is the number of rows that I get at 100%. I get 22, so it's obviously rounded up to get my 1%. Um, I could put something like, and I get 20. And I went too far. 22. Well, eventually I'll get one. Doesn't really matter much. The point is you can use a number here that is not a whole number. You can actually put a decimal value for the percent. So it's an interesting feature. Of course, I could have just actually went ahead and said I want the top 21 rows and be done with it. Now, where it gets used is, back there, is in places where you want a view. So if you're making a view, like I'm going to go ahead and make this particular view. If I'm making this view and I put in an order by clause, you have to put in a top to make the order by work. Now that has to do with some of the rules of relational algebra that's translated by the developers of the database engine, and those rules have been enforced kind of differently depending on which version of SQL Server you're using. In general, it's been considered a best practice not to put order by in your view, but as I said, many people do anyway, because it can be convenient in certain occasions. The big downside is that it can also be bad for performance. Also, it kind of violates some of the logical, theoretical design philosophies of this relational algebra. So, be that as it may, people do it, might as well know how it works. So I can actually go ahead and just put in a number. Give me the top 1,000 rows, or top 2155, or top 21. But I can also put in like 100% here, and I can make the view work that way. So I've already made the view. If I run it, I get 100% of the rows, which is at 2155. Awesome, it's working. Now, of course, I can do that, but when I select it, look what I'm order buying the unit price. And I run this, you can see that the lowest price is 2. And that shows up. Now watch what happens when I select against the view. That gets ignored. This is behavior that came out in SQL 2005, if I'm not mistaken, where they looked at it and said, yeah, we're not going to do that. So we're not going to respect that. You shouldn't be using order by in your views. Not going to do it. Have a nice day. But it's really odd behavior. You don't expect that behavior. Now, one workaround for that is to put in a percentage. If you put in a percentage other than 100, oddly enough, that works. You can see it's actually working now. Of course, there is a possibility that at some point in time you will exceed this precision of data and you'll end up missing some rows. So if the data set's large enough, that could be a problem. I mean, right now it's so small. If I just put in 99%, Oops, not 99. Yeah, 99%. I still see my. Oh, actually, no. It was large enough that I'm already reset percentage. So at some point in time, I will exceed that. So I need to keep this number large. Okay, well that works. But of course, I could have just put in some outrageous number. So let's see. That's 1,000. There's another. So that's 1,000, 11,000, 111,000, million, and then 100 million. So some outrageous number that we think we'll never get. Take out the percentage, and if you do that, then it's such an outrageous number that you don't have to worry about it. I see people put in zeros here. I often put in zeros. That's perfectly fine too. In fact, it's a little bit easier for me to read because I can separate this in my mind fast and see it enough. What's that, billion? But it doesn't really matter what number you put in there. It saves space by putting in ones. I don't know. It makes no real difference as long as the number is big enough. So anyway, that's some of the oddities of using top. Again, do keep in mind that if I had just made the view without the top and just left off the order by, having order by in your views is not really that big a deal because you can always just select from the view and put the order by there. It's true that you're not saving the order in the view, but maybe that's not necessary since you can always just order it on the fly. Anyway, hopefully that was interesting, and thanks for watching.